Jim Bonus Beats.
Time for some. You wanna know why? Time for some.
Oh yeah.
Time for some. You wanna know why? Time for some. Time for some.
Jim Bonus Beats.
Time for some. You wanna know why? Time for some.
Oh yeah.
Time for some. You wanna know why? Time for some. Time for some.
Hey, welcome to Getting High with Grandma. I am Scott, and with me as always is Grandma. How you doing today?
Okay, Grandma's tripping.
You're tripping
Tripping.
on the whole virus thing?
Oh, well, yeah, that, life.
Yeah. Now, this whole thing has been crazy.
Yes, it is. Obviously, this is a subject we got to touch on because it's the happenings right now, and everybody, I'm sure, feels differently about it.
Everybody has their own take, what they think's going on.
Well, yeah, that's because we're uninformed. Oh, but anyway, there goes Grandma's opinionated.
Well, a lot of people are, I believe that. They're uninformed.
Well, yeah.
But then they rely on
Facebook, YouTube.
the news.
See, I was watching YouTube. We're going to really go into detail with this, so don't mind if I take left turns here and there. I was watching YouTube last night about the Chinese collecting exotic animals from different countries, okay, and housing these animals because they think the privileged think it's a big to-do to eat these exotic animals, okay?
Like vitality
So they were saying that this flu virus, it's a flu virus that unfortunately it mutated from animal to animal and then from animals to the handlers. And I don't know if it's true, Scott. I'm just telling you.
No, I know.
What people are fed out there, and we can't rely on the news, and obviously you can't rely on YouTube because when I looked it back up, I'm tripping, going, well, these damn Chinese. But the thing was like, from the influenza thing that went on. I think it was 5 years ago. It was very.
It wasn't like this, though.
No, we didn't have this, but that's what they're saying. This is what I got. I know nothing. I'm not a scientist. But what they're saying was this influenza virus that wasn't like this. In fact, my doctor called me in. My primary care when the influenza was going around, I figured I'm up in Bend, Oregon, okay? I don't have to worry about no influenza, okay? So anyway, but I was very surprised. My primary care called me in and told me he wanted to vaccinate me. I'm at the age where they want to vaccinate me for this influenza. And I told him no thank you because my mother raised us not to believe in vaccinations, okay? Her whole thing was strengthen your immune system.
Smart woman.
Yeah. I told you, that was one of the reasons she sent us to Catholic school is because they didn't require the vaccinations that public school demands, okay?
Now, I'm curious, so, like you said, there's a lot of information out there. What is
Right.
your opinion? Because, like, what I tell Xavier is, look at something from every possible angle you can find, every opinion, every theory, and form your own opinion based on logic.
Well, like I said, my opinion probably means nothing, but that's okay. Here's my opinion. I wasn't concerned with it when I first heard about it. Oh, because we've been through these scares before. Influenza, there's all kind. I'll tell you what. I wasn't concerned with it because, again, I'm a survivor. Okay, I've had uh, walking pneumonia. I've had influenza.
Malaria.
I've had malaria. I've had tuberculosis. And you know, I'm going to survive all this. So when it all started, I wasn't putting a lot of mental energy into it. Okay, but in my lifetime, I don't think I can recall, which doesn't mean a whole lot of anything because, you know, I forget a lot, but I don't recall ever being put on lockdown, you know, so
You're not really, but
what
it's.
they're advising, okay, that yes,
And you don't think it was man-made?
well, I don't know how it was man-made. I mean, I don't know how it was made. It doesn't matter. It's out there, you know. It doesn't matter how it was made. It's killing people, okay? And so I hate to say, oh, I don't believe in it, and I hate to go. Grandma's not going to Mexico, okay? And so that was another thing that kind of opened my eyes to reality. Yes, we can be fed a lot of shit in this country, and we have been for a long, long time, many times before. But this is worldwide now. These countries all over the world are shutting their borders. I can't go to Mexico because of that, you know. And I'll say one thing for the Mexican people. They're always laid back, but I was pleasantly surprised. I thought I was going to have to go through a long, drawn out ordeal to reschedule my trip. And when do I reschedule it to? Because we're uninformed. We don't know if this is going to last a couple of weeks, a couple of months, or more. We don't know. Okay, so but they were very nice and they gladly rescheduled me for July. And I asked them, you know, what happens if it's still going on in July? I mean, I can't fly if the airlines don't fly.
Oh, I hear you.
Right? So that's beyond, if it were up to me, I would fly down because I don't have a fear of the virus. But
Now with tuberculosis, though, that's not you always have it, right?
no.
I thought you always had it.
Yeah, once you have it, you always have it. But
So
it's
doesn't
not,
that put you at risk because it's a respiratory thing?
they say it's a respiratory thing, but I'll tell you what happened. Oh, I know what it was. I was going for my dream job. Okay, I was applying for this job as the assistant zookeeper in Folsom. I passed the written,
There's a zoo in Folsom.
yeah, and I passed 2 interviews, and then they were going to hire me, and I had to take a physical. Well, they did the TB test, and it turned out positive and active. Well, it also turns out that these animals are see, this is again where this theory of these animals, the animals are they told me, the animals are very susceptible to the viruses. Okay, and because I had that TB virus, I could not be hired in that capacity. I lost the dream job.
That sucks.
You know. But yeah, anyway, when I was diagnosed with this TB, I didn't believe them because I had no symptoms. I was not sick. The health department ended up stepping in because I refused to go back to the doctor. Okay, and so the health department came to the house and demanded that everybody in the house be tested for this TB. Well, you know, fortunately, and I don't know why, not even the man I was married to, sleeping with, swapping spit, breathing in his face, and nobody had the TB but me.
See, and that should open your eyes, I would think, to see that it's like.
Well, I'm not.
Do you believe
worried.
AIDS came from animals too, like the monkey?
I don't know, but that's what they said.
That's an easy scapegoat.
It is, but I have my doubts, but again, I hate to go, oh, it's a conspiracy theory. These people just are setting up. because, the fact is, I don't know. And what if? What if I am contaminating that lady? Because if I had, let me tell you something, if I had no symptoms with TB, it wouldn't surprise me. They say some people could be carriers. You could be carrying this virus and you're well. You don't have a sore throat. You're not coughing. You're well. I'm well. But we could be carrying the virus. Serious about it. You could unintentionally be spreading.
So why should I live in? Go ahead. Because I have my whole theory on this shit.
I want to hear yours too. It's not all about my opinion.
No, but I'm curious. The thing that, like, before we started shooting, we were talking about this, and you brought up the animal thing, and I'm like, where did you hear that? And you're like, on YouTube, on the news. That's one thing I don't like about YouTube, the censorship, because it used to be you and me. Shows like this would come up in my recommendations. Now it's ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN. It's mainstream.
Yeah, I know.
Because nobody's watching television anymore, and they're not making their money, so they're kicking us way down there. You don't come up in search results when you should, because...
Well, that's the thing. Whether it came from animals or not, I don't know.
And you said it didn't matter if it did.
It doesn't matter to me where it comes from.
I think that's the most important thing.
The fact of the... Well, I think right now the important thing is living through it. Okay? I don't know where it came from, but in my heart and soul, I don't want to be unintentionally, unknowingly be a carrier and go and infect somebody else.
So you shutting yourself up in your house?
No, I don't shut myself up in the house. I went to the lake the other day. There's nobody up at the lake. It was wonderful. I went up to the forest land with my dog because there's no people there.
Okay, my thing is, like me, Xavier, I don't know about you. I see what trips me out about you is the tuberculosis. Like, I would think that would make you high risk.
I'm going to live to be 109 years old, so there's no damn virus that's going to take me out, but I don't want to make somebody else sick.
Okay, so what if there's an old person out at the lake and you walk by him and sneeze and you're a carrier?
Well, then shame on me.
Why?
Because
shame on you. Shame on them. If they're at risk, they need to quarantine.
Well, first of all, like your mother used to tell you, cover your mouth when you cough and sneeze, okay? You shouldn't be walking by somebody and sneezing at them, okay? You shouldn't be walking somebody, in any time.
If it was as bad as they say it is, I don't know anyone who has it. I don't know anyone who knows anyone who has it. If it was as bad as they say it is, we would all know somebody who's died from it. It's not that. I'm not saying it's not a bad thing, but it's not as bad as they make it. In my opinion, my take on this whole thing, it's a social experiment. And we are not acting right. Well, it's to see how we react when they release the big one. I do believe it's man-made. It's to thin the herd. There's a thing called Agenda 21. It was the United Nations created it in 1993. You can download it. It's 351 pages. It's about how they're going to, and it's under the guise of sustainable development. It's basically taking everybody out of where we live in rural areas, stacking us on top of each other in major cities. This is the United Nations. And only the elite can use rural.
Worldwide.
No, this is
United Nations is worldwide.
Yes.
Okay.
But this is the plan, and then do like one world government stuff like that. Anyways, and then another thing I think they do. The reason they're doing this is the powers that be or whatever don't care about humanity. They care about money and power, and they look at seniors as a drain on our economy.
Yes, I've heard that too. I've also heard somebody, and again, I'm trying to not be ignorant and poo-poo the whole thing away.
Are you scared?
I don't want. No, I'm not scared. I'm not scared of anything.
Would you say a lot of people are?
I don't know. I don't talk to a lot of people, but
toilet paper.
Well, again, yes, I see how people are.
You don't even get
reacting.
diarrhea or anything. That's not even a symptom. So why do you care? Like, why do you need all the toilet paper?
Because people are greedy, okay? And they not only are they greedy, they're very selfish, okay? And I don't want to be one of those
And they're
selfish
scared.
people. I don't want to. No, I don't want to run out of toilet paper. Oh, I don't care. I'll use the curtains. What the fuck? But
I told X we'll just get brown
yeah,
washcloths.
that's right. I saw a wonderful thing. My Oliver, thank you, Oliver. Oliver sent me this little thing you could buy at Ace Hardware, and it's a hose like your shower hose,
Mhm.
but smaller in diameter. And at the end of it, it has a spray nozzle, and you hook this right up to the line on your toilet, and you have a $10 bidet. Okay, what
That's
the hell
not a
you
good
need
idea.
toilet paper for?
Yeah, that's
But
true.
people are getting crazy. I went to town, yeah, I guess a few days ago, a couple days ago. Of course, the pot shops are open, yay! But the stores, it was empty. There was no. They were very short on food.
I was there the other day, yeah. And you know what I've seen too is like on YouTube or whatever videos, like people at the store taping other people. They've got carts and carts full of processed ass food. If you're worried about getting sick, the last thing you need is to buy that. I would be buying fruits and vegetables if I was that concerned about getting sick.
Well, they need to do something, and I think what they need to do,
It's medical martial law.
medical martial law.
That's what it is.
I've heard something about they haven't had martial law since World War II. I don't, but they've had it before. Otherwise,
Okay, I know you don't think we do. We live in a culture of fear. They do this, and to me, it's a social experiment to see how we react. It's a real thing. People get sick and they die. How many people died in the United States?
well, that influenza, I was looking it up yesterday. That influenza killed something like 538,000 people. Okay, and we weren't quarantined then.
I understand. And then, like you said something earlier today too, when we were talking. What was it about? Like influenza. To me, it's no different than that.
Well, yeah, but see, that's the problem. It's they're thinking,
26,000 people die every year from the flu, or complications from.
and that's really a drop in the bucket when you consider how big the world really is.
Well, that's just the United States.
Oh no, that's what's worldwide.
The 500?
It's influenza. Yeah,
But I'm saying on average, every year, no matter what, whether that's an outbreak or not, people die. 26,000 people die from the flu. Complications thereof, which basically this.
I have never had a flu shot in my life.
I hate it. Once I figured out what they were,
Yeah.
there's 1,000 different strands, and they guess every year what strand's going to be prominent. So you're shooting yourself with something that's probably not. It's just going to make you sick.
Well, and that's what's creating. This is what they say, okay? And when I say they, I guess I don't have any news or anything, so I'm going off of internet and YouTube news. So
Like that's a lot of the stuff I say I don't believe. I've heard it though.
right. Well, what I have heard was that yes, we've known about the influenza. Okay.
We've known about corona.
And we came up with a
Swine flu's corona.
yeah, but we came up with a vaccination and stuff for that. Those people who are at risk need to get that vaccination. But now what has happened was
Why?
With the people at risk
Need to get the vaccination?
should get the vaccination.
Why?
Well, because it can kill them if they get sick and these hospitals are overwhelmed and you don't get proper care and you die. So what's a little vaccination? If you're at risk. If you're not at risk, you don't need the vaccination. Don't worry about it. They can't demand you have one.
If I got the coronavirus, I would get a cold probably. I don't have respiratory problems, whatever. That's what, like I was telling you earlier, celebrities are going and I tested positive for whatever, but they have no symptoms.
So they could get their. Well, I didn't have any symptoms with tuberculosis. That's what we went back to the tuberculosis, which is also a world.
What's
No.
wrong with you? Have tuberculosis. How does it affect your life right now?
I had. It doesn't. It never affected my life when I was.
So why do I need a
active.
vaccine?
I didn't. But I was quarantined for a couple weeks on antibiotics. It was highly contagious, so I was required by the health department to wear the mask.
What were the symptoms of it that you?
They said I should have had a cough. I did not have a cough. They said, you should be fatigued and tired. Are you fatigued and tired? Well, I don't think so. I go to work every goddamn day, so how fatigued and tired could I be, right? Weight loss. Yes, I had lost some weight, but I chalked it up to the stress of Dave and the kids, So, was I ill?
You had no.
No.
Okay.
That's because I'm a carrier.
Jim Bonus